Brenda J. Lilly here from Creative Consultations. I just wanted to put out a small disclaimer before we launch into today's video that says I'm not a licensed therapist. I'm just here to engage, to encourage, and hopefully empower other artists to go out and live their art dream. So here we go. Enjoy the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, October 21st, 2024. And you know what that means? It's time for another Monday morning Kickstart with Creative Consultations and me, Brenda J. Lilly. I hope you like this video. And if you do, like it, subscribe to the channel, and share it with everyone you know so that we can continue to encourage each other to choose to become the person we were created to be. All right. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. Well, good Monday morning, everybody. And it is time for another Monday morning Kickstart. I have a big old cup of coffee and I'm ready to rock and roll. Okay. So today I think we're going to finish our conversation about change and making choices for our lives. Because it seems like I'm tempting fate. Like I'm talking about change and making choices, and all of a sudden, massive change and choices are coming into my life. So we're going to finish up this conversation, move on to something else, which I know not of yet for next week. But for today, I just want to talk about self talk. Now, we've talked about self talk before in other videos. But this time I want to talk about listening to yourself, listening to your self talk. Not because it's bad or wrong, not because you have to take the thought captive and cast it out because it's doom and gloom or whatever. No, I want to talk about that self talk that brings on the winds of change, right? Sometimes we think change comes out of nowhere. And I think sometimes it does. Sometimes circumstances beyond our control come in and sweep our lives in a completely different direction. And then our decisions and our choices are all around how we deal with the effects of that change, right? What kind of attitude we're going to have. I'm not talking about that kind of change. We talked about that kind of change a couple of times last week and the week before. But now I want to talk about the kind of change where your soul is speaking towards it, right? Where you know something's coming because something is unsettling inside yourself. And it's not outside forces, it's not because of something else. It's because of something inside of you that is changing, that is shifting. Either it's an awareness or it's a change of heart, passion. You're tired of being in the location you are. There's all sorts of things that sort of make our spirit go, something needs to shift. And that something is me. And it's not my attitude, because I can shift my attitude and continue to enjoy what I'm doing and be a part of what I'm doing. I could do that, but I wouldn't be being altruistic. I wouldn't be being true to myself. When that kind of self-talk begins to happen, we need to stop and listen to it because it is important information. Okay? I've had a few of these moments in my life, and I want to tell you that they're almost as frightening as the sweeping changes that just sort of sweep our lives in a different direction without our control or say so. Um, and it's scary in a different way because it's self-motivated, right? And whenever we self-motivate something, we know Success or failure lies in our hands and our hands alone. Okay. And that makes the stakes go high. So I want us to start listening when our spirits say things like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I don't understand the point of this. Sorry for that loud interruption. That was our puppy Pip. And someone dared to walk by my house. How dare they? We will continue. So, when your spirit, your soul, when your self talk says things like, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not okay with this anymore, I'm not passionate about this anymore, you really have to stop and take stock. And you just don't go with it, right? You just don't go, oh, okay, well, then I'm going to change it. You don't just decimate your life in one fell swoop because you had a meandering thought through your brain. Thoughts will meander through your brain all the time. And if we listen to every single one of them, we're going to just be like whirling dervishes, changing careers left, right, and center, and never having a focus. What I'm asking or suggesting we do, especially as artists, because so many of us have these errant thoughts that come out of nowhere seemingly and bring us in one direction and then bring us into the next direction. And art comes from that can come from that kind of chaos, right? What I consider chaos, you might not consider it chaos. But I have a lot of friends who are ADD, ADHD, and I am not. And so my brain is vastly different. And what I see as chaos, they see as life. So, I think that's wonderful. And out of it comes such artistry. So I don't want us to think every time we have a thought that says, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore, that we should take it seriously. There has to be something in your spirit that is checking, that is making you feel like this isn't your place anymore, right? And I've had a few of those moments in my life. Some of them have come more gently than others. But when I've said those words, I knew it was time to go, or the time to go was coming. Right? It's not always instantaneously. It's not always cut and run. It is sometimes a slow departing or slow departure because you want to end well. And I talked about that the other day, last week, I think, ending well. But we need to listen first to our self talk. We need to listen to our spirit and understand it. Understand the things that might be pushing us to say this. Sometimes it's just frustration in the moment. And those are times that you go, okay, I'm just frustrated today. It's fine. It'll pass. And it does, right? But then there's other times when it's not frustration driven or it's not, oh, I wish driven. There is something deeper going on. You need to start to listen and understand what is going on. And that means you have to unpack the moment. I had a moment the other day on my way somewhere, and I literally said out loud to myself in the car, I don't want to do this anymore. And I stopped myself and I went, that's interesting. That's interesting. Why would I say that? That's interesting. And I started unpacking it for the 10 minutes I had, right? And I unpacked it for 10 minutes, and then I've unpacked it further and unpacked it further. And I can tell you the winds of change here are blowing. I don't know where they're blowing to, and I don't know what they're blowing about quite yet. I'm still unpacking all of that. And that's okay. It doesn't Making a life choice is an important decision. So I think we need to take a moment or 10 or 20 and appreciate the process of change, because it is a process. It's not just a happening. It is a complete process. The winds start to blow, there's self-talk that happens. You start to understand change is coming, and you start to unpack all of those feelings and expressions about it. And then the decision to change comes. That's what I think is our spirits getting ready for the shift. Very rarely do you end up somewhere where you didn't, in some way, shape, or form, imagine yourself. Very rarely. At some point, imagine yourself, or at some point, make a decision to get where you are. Very rarely does that happen. Always there's a decision, sometimes bad decision, to get where you are, sometimes good decision to get where you are. Very rarely are you out of choices, right? Are you out of the decision making process for your own life? Even when it's a bad decision, some choices that you've made have led you to this place, right? If we're honest, we know that. We can blame a whole lot of things on a whole lot of people, but in the end, we're the ones who made the choices for our life. And so we hold that bag, right? So I'm saying that when our self-talk is telling us time is coming, that change is on the horizon, that we start taking some deep breaths and we start looking around us and saying, okay, what's precious and what isn't? What's important and what is not? Unpack your feelings, unpack your reasons, unpack your behaviors, and then understand it all. And here's a point that I didn't even write down in my notes. Talk to someone who's wiser than you are about all of it. Whether that's a therapist or a pastor or your older sibling or whoever, your favorite teacher, does not matter. Someone in your upline, someone who has more wisdom than you do and isn't going to get caught up emotionally with you, who can stay objective and help talk you through it all. We all need that person in our life, or more than one person, but we all need at least that one person in our life who we can go to and say, hey, can we kick this around for a bit? Because, woo, this is huge, right? Life choices are not easy. They're about our life. So I don't think they should be easy. Our choices, like I said last week, affect other people. So no, they shouldn't be easily or quickly or without thought made. Decisions, we need to really be aware of what it is we're bringing to the world around us when we make that decision, and be ready for the fallout. Be ready, because people are going to have opinions. about what it is you're changing, what it is you're doing, what it is you're choosing not to do, people are going to have opinions. And like the rest of everybody else, you can have your opinion, but it's not necessarily going to sway me from changing my course. If I know I'm on the right course, if I know I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do, why would your opinion matter? But when you are in the midst of a life choice, a life decision that is going to alter the way you live, where you live, who you're working with, all of those things, and might shift everything for if you have a family, a wife, a husband, and children. Yeah, you want to talk to your upline, folks. Don't just try to make this decision on your own. Talk to someone. So important. And then once you've talked it through, once you've done all of those steps, then you will have a clear mind, a secure heart, and a spirit filled with peace as you make your decision to change. For me, I add prayer into all of those steps because without consulting God Himself, I'm lost. But that's me. That's where I sit with my faith. If I don't consult the big guy, I don't stand a chance. But once I do that, I know He's going to set my feet on the right course and on the right path, and I will keep on walking. And I also know once I do that and I'm walking through the doors that He opens, then I have full security. So when all the differing opinions and the voices start to come in trying to create chaos, they do nothing. I don't get pushed one way or the other because I know I'm where I'm supposed to be, right? Doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So it's a short one today, folks. Self talk. It's a big, big, big subject. Listening to our own self talk, listening to our spirits, listening to our hearts, understanding what we're saying and why. Talking to our upline and then making decisions for change. All right. I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next week. Happy Monday, everyone. Hey, thank you so much for watching our video. I hope you liked it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, subscribe. What are you waiting for? All right. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Bye.